Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get-together live here on Facebook every morning at 10:30, where we share headlines, comments, ideas, topics, questions, suggestions on how to have a better life here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community of locals that are either retired or are working hard or are in the process of moving here. And of course, the occasional tourist and voyager that wants to know exactly what the scoop is. How do we actually live here on a day-to-day basis? That's what we do at Coffee and Headlines. If you are new to these broadcasts, please let us know. We love to give you a proper welcome, and we can do that if you type the word new in your comments. And also, if you have specific questions that you would love to have addressed during the broadcast, I can answer a lot of them. And if I cannot, there's a lot of resources here in our community of daily viewers. So feel free to add the letter Q to your questions, and we'll be happy to tackle them if we have an answer. If we don't have an answer, well, we'll try to research it. And if we can't find anything for you, we promise we will not bombard you with fake news. As always, it is a pleasure to see friends that join us on a regular basis. And starting with our friend Tapia. Hello, querido amigo. Please let me know how things are going. I know that your wife is in town purchasing a piece of land. If you need help to make sure that you're getting a legal piece of land, let us know. There are great resources here on Coffee and Headlines, real estate professionals that can help out if you are still figuring out what to do. Cool PV is in the house. And oh my God, let me tell you, you may not even know this. Well, actually, you don't know this because you're not here with me, but today is the first day that we do a broadcast in which I've turned every single fan off. And I think I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to start schwitzing because the weather has turned, and we're going to talk a little bit about the weather later on today. Pamela is happy that we're going to discuss how to score weed. Yes, somebody asked yesterday, and it's not so much that I'm going to tell you how to score weed. I'm going to tell you how not to score weed, and I'm going to offer some pointers because ultimately, this is not about whether you should or should not score it or consume it. It's about doing it safely, and there are very safe ways to acquire weed, and then there are other adventurous ones that I wouldn't recommend. We're going to get into that later on in the program. Yes, what a wonderful, cool night. Absolutely. Wednesday is for waiting. Wednesday is for wine. Wednesday is for waiting for wine. I love it. Vancouver is in the house. It's great to see you. Conchas Chinas, our favorite baker, Raymond Dunn, is in the house. It's great to see you as well. And since I don't see, oh my God, our favorite piano player, Mark Hartman. Mark, we miss you. Come back. Sing us a song. I have all kinds of really wonderful repertoire for you to learn. And I will pay extra if I hear you play Baby Shark. Just once, please. I will pay extra. And then we're not going to talk about that anymore. We talked about that yesterday. Anyhow, let's see. Let's see. Anyone want to adopt an American refugee? Oh, Papi. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Um, Not yet. Let's see. Curious if I think the emergency button 2 week time frame could be extended. I actually don't think that's the way it's going to go. But again, there's no way to know. There's no way to know. This is entirely up to our governor and his team of economy experts and his team of science medical experts. But I would be very surprised if he extended it. Just because I know that the governor is very mindful of how important the second half of November and December are for our state, economically speaking. Um, let's see. Sylvie's going to be playing at El Rio Barbecue tomorrow. If you guys want to have some live music, that's nice to hear. And Los Muertos is in the house. I love it. I think I'm all caught up with your initial hellos. So I'd like to say hello back to each and every one of you, and get started with the news, which includes some improvements around the city, some news about Volaris, the airline, and all kinds of other goodies. So let's just jump into the news. Okay, for starters, for those of you that are living here in Puerto Vallarta and are driving around town, the newspaper has announced that there's going to be some shutting down of the laterals of Medina Asensio during 12 hours today because of work that CIAPAL, the waterworks company, is going to be doing. This is going to be on the southbound stretch around the Cristal Hotel, which in my mind, I think it's already closed down because they've been doing all the extension of the lanes and adding a bicycle only lane. But this implies that also, because waterworks are going to be involved in the situation, that there will be no water in the hotel zone. So this is going to happen through the day today. Hopefully they will finish the work that they are trying to do, and we can continue with our life as usual. But please be mindful that if you are driving around Francisco Medina Asensio today, you can expect some delays. That would be the first thing. Oh, this is really well. It's not funny, but it's funny because just yesterday we were talking about how Enrique Alfaro, our governor, was posting all these photographs of some avenues in Guadalajara that were completely empty, and how he was saying, we Jaliscienses really follow the rules and we're going to be fine, et cetera, et cetera. And when we talked about this yesterday or the day before, we questioned this notion, and we figured, well, the results of the emergency button won't be really noticeable until the science can look at the data and we can actually look at the numbers and see if there was any difference. Well, our good governor, decided to push things a little further, and he started posting comparative photos of downtown Mexico City and downtown Guadalajara, as you can see here. And boy, did he get some shade because of that. For starters, Claudia Sheinbaum, who is the mayor or the governor of Mexico City, said, well, we do things very differently than you do. We are not an intimidating government. We don't intimidate our citizens. And that was a very blatant hint as to the governing style that our governor has. But also, a lot of people, regular folks like you and I, started giving some flack to the governor and started posting photos of other areas of Guadalajara and the state, for that matter, saying, well, dude, downtown Guadalajara may be deserted, but the problems are real. So it's good that the citizenship is keeping our governor on his toes to make sure that he makes the best possible decisions he can make. It is unfortunate, but perhaps prudent, that the Cruise Line Association in the United States has decided to not allow cruises to start until after the 31st of December, which means we won't be seeing any cruise ship arrivals in our city until next year. We don't know exactly when this will happen, but if you were expecting to arrive on a cruise ship, you won't be able to do it anytime soon. Needless to say, this creates some economic hardship to our city because our city relies on a certain amount, substantial amount of income for that matter, whenever a cruise ship decides to dock in our city. Again, this won't be happening until next year. I see a couple of interesting questions. We'll pause in a second to address them. It's nice to see that Hugo Lopez Gatell, our country's health czar and advisor, who has been leading the whole epidemic situation, considers that the emergency button in Jalisco is a smart choice for our state, indicating that a lot of the strategies that are involved in the emergency button would be similar to the strategies that would have to go into place if our state was governed by the federal stoplight. So it's nice to see, even though our state is handled differently, that the federal expert considers that it is a good thing to do. Needless to say, the closing during the evenings of many establishments is going to create some sort of hardship, and that is to be expected. Unfortunately, there's no good solution for everyone. And according to this item that I looked at, the Association of Businesses and Restaurants along the Malecon considered that they are going to have a 30% loss of revenue during the 2 weeks that we are shutting down. Let me stop here actually to take a look at some of your questions because we're switching to another topic. Let me see what's on your minds. Let's see. Good morning, Tracy. It's nice to know that Encanto is finally open. I hope you guys do well, considering all the restraints that are going on in places like entertainment venues. I know that, excuse me, other entertainment venues in town are also starting to gear up. We look forward to the return of live entertainment in the safest possible way. Let's see. I saw a question that I don't have an answer, but I wanted to bring it up. Stephen asks, can you tell me the benefits of becoming a permanent resident? I can't because I am a Mexican national, so I have no idea what the benefits are. Specifically, I can imagine there must be some, and I am hoping, Stephen, that an immigration lawyer can give you the answer to your questions, or perhaps some members of the community that have become permanent residents. But there's going to be benefits there, absolutely. Let me see. Is that photo on the right even real? Asks Sylvie. Well, I believe it was real. I've been in Guadalajara downtown Sundays, and certain streets can be pretty dead, pretty desolate. Actually, desolate is a word that implies danger, I suppose. But no, certain parts of downtown Guadalajara just go very quiet during the weekends, usually, and I'm talking pre-pandemic. So I do believe it's real, but I don't believe it represents the reality of the state. Not the slightest bit. Here's some comments about permanent residency. Thank you very much, Dina. I am sure that they will be appreciated by Stephen. Thank you very much. Let's see what else. Absolutely, Steve. And we have been mindful of this from day one. It's a difficult balancing act, and I respect the position in which our leaders are having to make these tough decisions. I mean, it's not easy for anybody. Let's see. There you go. This is very helpful for everybody at Mexperience.com. And we have quoted some articles from them in the past. I am sure that there's going to be some great information there. Well, moving on with the news, this is a little vague, but it is interesting because the tourism secretary is starting to identify new tourism trends for Puerto Vallarta as a consequence of the pandemic. Clearly, the tourism secretary has identified that there are a lot of Mexican nationals that are interested in traveling to our destination. And of course, a lot of visitors from Canada and the United States that have easy access thanks to specific plane routes. It is interesting to see that they're coming up with new analysis as to how places like Puerto Vallarta and Cancun and Los Cabos are places that are probably going to recover faster than other places because of connectivity, both from the United States and Canada, and also connectivity through the highway. Again, it is not a specific news item per se, but it is good to see that that the government strategists are looking at new ways to persuade visitors to come and spend time in our destination. This one caught my eye, and I think it's a very interesting news item. A new law has been passed in the state of Jalisco that forbids pet stores from keeping animals at the pet shop. In the future, and they're giving a 6-month transition period through which, if you go to a pet store and you want to purchase an animal, the store has to have a catalog, either a virtual catalog, something online, or a physical catalog, a photo book with animals. And this is an article that is now that the Congress of Jalisco has approved, and I don't know that it's becoming official just yet. But what this will mean further protection for the animals that are sometimes disregarded in pet stores. Now, is this going to have any impact on the way we go about adopting animals? I'm not sure. I know that, for example, Petco has an adoption station at least once a week, or I don't know what the frequency is. So I don't know if pet stores are going to be able to have animals for adoption anymore, but we are going to keep track of this, and we will definitely keep you posted. And of course, Karen is absolutely right. Adopt, don't shop. There are hundreds of sheltered dogs and cats that need home, and this is absolutely correct. And we have no shortage of resources here at Coffee and Headlines and in the English-speaking community in general. There's a lot of love for animals here in town. So I think we're going to be fine as far as getting pets. And for the pet shops, well, it's another way to make sure that the animals that they do sell are handled in a responsible, careful, and loving way. We also learned from Tribuna de la Bahía that there is considerable damage in the base of Los Muertos Pier. Los Muertos Pier has been a can of worms since it was opened, because it was supposed to be maintained by the federal government. Then they said it was going to be maintained by the municipality. And now this article claims that it is the Neighborhood Association for Emiliano Zapata that is supposed to look after the upkeep of Los Muertos Pier. The article mentions a noticeable damage of both on the structure that supports it, but also underwater. There's some rust that is noticeable here. And there are some photos of what it looks like underwater, where we can see that a number of marine creatures have decided to call the pylons that supported home. And we see all kinds of crustaceans and amphibians, and I don't know what the technical terms for them are. And of course, this doesn't mean that the Los Muertos Pier is going to topple over anytime soon, but it is an ongoing reminder of how this structure, which is really beautiful, is sadly disregarded by the authorities, and no one seems to really know who is supposed to look after it. Moving right along, what do we have here? Oh, yes, Interjet. Interjet, poor Interjet. There's been a couple of headlines about Interjet that I've regarded. As you know, Interjet is one of the low-cost airlines, domestic airlines here in Mexico. I don't think they still have flights to the United States. I believe they used to at some point, international flights. But Interjet is one of the choices that we have to get from point A to point B, not very expensively, here in Puerto Vallarta. And Interjet has been going through major losses through the pandemic, unfortunately. There was a very funny headline for them a couple of days ago saying they were able to pay 1 million pesos for gas to it's called turbocina in Spanish, the special gas that planes use. I don't know what it's called in English. But the headline read silly because it said, well, we paid 1 million pesos for gas for our plane, so we're fine for the weekend. Which is a sad way to publicize this. At the beginning, Interjet had denied that they were in such bad trouble, but now the Federal Consumer Protection Agency in Mexico has stepped in and said you have to stop buying tickets because they are clearly not able to fulfill their financial responsibility. In fact, the Federal Protection Agency, the consumer agency, is putting together a class action suit for people that have purchased tickets because apparently thousands of passengers got stranded this past weekend. So it is important to say that if you have been considering buying tickets through Interjet, the Mexico's Consumer Protection Agency recommends that you don't buy them. Just this morning, I got a promotional email from Costco, Mexico, saying you can buy Interjet tickets from us at a discount. So I very much suggest that you stay away from those kinds of situations until either Interjet can get themselves out of what is likely going to be a bankruptcy, or they are able to resolve their economic challenges. And let's see, this is all that I have for formal headlines. Let me very quickly take a look at what you are thinking about before we move on to the weather and other lovely things. Oh my goodness, do I see a birthday? Linda Hickey has a birthday. Happy birthday, Linda. Even if you're not able to celebrate your birthday in Puerto Vallarta, you are a member of our community, and I absolutely hope you will have a fantabulous day today. Happy birthday. Let's see. Benefits for green card folks or permanent residents. This is good. Sylvie thinks it's a good idea. Petco sells birds and other little creatures, so that is a good idea. Paul is getting smart, which is good because whenever I see my dear friend Paul being smart early in the morning, that means things are going well in his businesses. I love you, baby. Mwah. Let's see. Aha, Heather has also been reading about this, and she says that even animals being adopted cannot be displayed. So it'll be interesting to see whether this law, which is a state law, gets approved and then it goes federal. I'll keep an eye on that one because I know that our animals are important to us. And I agree with you, Brian. The pier should be the jewel of Emiliano Zapata. I mean, it's supposed to be. It was designed to be. And I remember when it was first inaugurated, it was gorgeous. It was majestic. That's what it was. The light show was gorgeous, and it was truly a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's a mystery. And Paul is right in saying this. And we certainly hope that something as beautiful as Los Muertos Pier can be maintained, if not restored to its original beauty, because it is a beacon. It is a beacon, and it is definitely an icon for our city. Can somebody jump me to the weed section? I want to hear that ASAP. Well, isn't that nice, Primo Sanelli? You have to wait, just like everybody else. Kidding, but not kidding. Let's see. They should have had it branded landmark since there are no funds to maintain it. Again, I don't know exactly what the legalities of everything are. And it is a shame. It is a shame. Absolutely. Let's see what else. Let's see. Oh, a big thing. Oh, that's for the birthday. Well, thank you back, Linda. I hope you have a good one. I know I'll be drinking a glass of wine or 7 on your behalf. Whenever someone from my family shows up, I'm always happy. My dear cousin, my cousin's sister is in the house. Hello, Norma. Yes, the weed. My God, you guys are feeling anxious. Good heavens. Am I mean? I'm not mean. Of course I'm not mean. Actually, it's almost time for the weed. But first, let us talk about the weather. Well, humidity. Now I've looked at humidity first because it's like the part that I'm really excited about. Humidity continues to be low, 55%. I think we've turned. I'm happy that we've turned. And it is 26 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius rather, which feels like just 2 degrees hotter, 28. It is 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Even the Fahrenheit number has decreased a little bit. There is no chance of rain for that matter. I think the rain is gone for the season. And we see that today is going to be clear through the day, humid through the day tomorrow, Thursday, and humid through the day on Friday. However, when the weather says it's going to be humid, this time of year, I just don't get so frightened about it anymore. And that was the weather, which brings us to this little comment, which I saw yesterday as I was checking your comments after the show. Good morning, Paco. Where does a girl get some pot here? And I love that because ultimately we have to take care of our viewers and make sure that everybody has the best possible solutions, connections, to the good stuff here in our city. Let me start by saying that I'm not going to give you a specific connection to a specific dealer or anyone because that's just not the kind of person that I am. I choose not to do that, and that's my own personal choice. But I am going to talk extensively, well, for a few minutes, about the do's and don'ts of scoring weed in Puerto Vallarta because I know a lot of people consume and hey, we got to have it, just like you consume other things. Um, Let me start by what just asking for a friend, mi vida. I just posted on my personal Facebook wall the other day, I want to meet this friend. I mean, this friend, if this friend is the same friend for everybody, this must be someone like the Wizard of Oz who is just like this little person that doesn't come out and who's hungry for knowledge. So whatever, whether you're asking for a little friend or a big friend or for yourselves, we can talk about these things here because I consume. I have no problem with it. Let me start by saying, don't buy it on the beach. Don't buy it from street vendors. Don't buy it out and about. Getting caught for buying weed out and about is a very horrible experience for foreigners in Mexico. Number one. Number two, the stuff, and I mean SCH, stuff that you buy on the beach or from like out and about dealers is not going to be of reliable quality. It just isn't. You just don't know what you are buying. So how do people go about buying in Puerto Vallarta? A lot of it has to do with asking friends. And if you don't have any friends and you're staying at a hotel, you ask the concierge. Now, concierge are used to answering all kinds of funky questions. But that comes with the territory, comes part with the job. That does not necessarily mean that a concierge is going to score it for you or tell you where to go. It really boils down to the hotel and the relationship you have with the staff or wherever it is that you are staying. And people do score at hotels because, I have a couple of friends that are hotel owners, and I know that more than once I have been gifted little bags that were left behind by people that were hopping on their plane and they didn't know what to do with their excess surplus. But there's no legal way to buy it. Ultimately, what you do as Puerto Vallarta English-speaking locals is we develop friendships. And as locals, we have friends and we know our friends. And when you know somebody well, that friend may feel comfortable in sharing knowledge of a source with you. But again, it's something that I personally don't like to share. And some people may not. As far as those of you that are here just for a weekend, and are coming from the United States, well, I hear your pain. You do have this advantage of the fact that back in the States, you can buy all kinds of gummies and chingaderas that people travel with. I know a lot of friends that bring their consumables with them, and this is how you get by. So don't be heartbroken if I don't have a big solution for you traveler or tourist or voyager, I just don't have one. There is no one. More often than not, tourists will end up buying on the beach, and this is not necessarily good for you. It's not safe. It's not safe. I cannot tell you that there's a good, safe alternative for folks that are just visiting. For those of us that live here, yes, we can rely on one another, and we can score and have what it is that we need. Not precisely weed, but a lot of people are now relying on CBD oil type products that you can buy at different places. Organic Select. Hey, save that for me. Thank you. Unless it's like it's 1,000 years old. We never know. But that is very funny that you found a baggie in a small pipe. That's funny. Anyhow, there are no easy solutions for people that are just traveling. What can I tell you? But for the rest of us, hopefully it'll become legalized soon. I'm still keeping an eye on that big cannabis event that is supposed to come now, just less than a month from now. It's supposed to be here on Thanksgiving weekend. I have not checked the website recently. I don't know if it'll happen or if it'll not happen. Let me take a quick look at your comments just to see where your mind is at. La 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 la. Let's see. There was talk about that when it was built. Telmex Los Muertos Pier. That is so funny. That is so funny. Let's see. Maintaining. We're continuing a weed time, says Kelly Adams. I love it. We will be. Can you please arrange cooler temperatures? We're getting there, Mark. We're getting there. We are getting there. Okay, Steve. We are going to keep these discussions off the program if we can. I know that a lot of people are feeling anxiety, but we're here to talk about wonderful things about Puerto Vallarta. Hash and headlines. I can do that one of these days. We can certainly do that one of these days. I've been drinking, and we've had wine and headlines. I don't see why we couldn't have hash and headlines. I love it. Kelly seems to be a connoisseur. I imagine that Colorado kind is some kind of stuff. And Kelly asks, how good is the quality? Well, I can tell you this, Kelly. There is, I'm not a fancy consumer. If it gets me to where I want to be in terms of, mindset, then it's good for me. I know that there's sativas and non-sativas and triple this and triple that, and there's all kinds of varieties up north because up north it is legal. So you can buy specialty stuff. There's no such thing here in Mexico. I mean, of course, if you happen to know people that know about the different varieties and they happen to grow them, you might be experiencing some out of the world thing. But you don't get that down here. I make a phone call and I ask, so what do you got? And sometimes I'll say, well, just the usual. And sometimes I'll hear, oh, this stuff is really great. So it's a luck kind of thing. So how good is the quality? For me, it's like, does it help me sleep or not? And that's my pitiful personal bottom line. Angelina says, I heard that the pot coming from the narcos came with some kind of a mark. I don't know how could the narcos mark weed. It's not like they have nanomolecules in the stuff that can come and find you. So that's, I don't know about that. Again, I don't buy from someone that is a narco. I buy from someone that buys from someone, and it's somebody that I trust. And I trust that he's doing it as safely as possible. Probably the worst thing to do is to go to the disco and buy at the disco, because the people that sell at nightclubs are people that the narco puts there for that very specific purpose. That has to be the most readily accessible place and perhaps the most dangerous. Ed asks, is this a marijuana discussion? Well, if you don't see that through my lovely little icon on the lower corner, then no, yes, we are here in the middle of that discussion. And yes, Ed chimes in, very, very dangerous. Yes, the answer for many good things in Puerto Vallarta: make friends, share your kindness, and thanks for the caution. Yes, I mean, if I knew everybody well, I would give you a phone number, but I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. Uh, and no, you cannot get it, Logan. I asked for it first. Um, We'd ask your bartender, yes, but again, the chances are in certain bars, Brad, that the bartender will point to someone that was put there by the narco, and it's entirely up to you whether you want to go there or not. As a local, I keep my distance. I keep my distance from an operation that is blatantly attached to the narco. Um, Ed is right on the money. Again, it's about getting to know people and getting to make friends. Um, and and I appreciate that, Steve. I appreciate that you guys are needing to vent a lot about what's going on north of the border. My concern here is the following: it's that here at Coffee and Headlines, we are locals, we are Americans, we are Canadians, we are from other countries, we are gay, we are straight, we are legal, we are illegal, we are Catholic, we are Jewish, we are trans, we are non-binary, we are all kinds. And it is really important to me that as we celebrate our diversity, we remain kind with one another. And I will be the first one to say that I have been guilty of my anti-Trump sentiments, and that is just my personal opinion. I know that there are Republicans in our audience, so I'm just hoping that we are able to come together as a community and just acknowledge everybody's anxiety without being harmful to others. And I'm not suggesting that you have, Steve. You have been very kind, but in the past, other people have just been a little bit, and that's the only thing that I'm trying to keep an eye off. And I thank you all so very much for partnering with me as far as that is concerned. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Can we buy a coffee via e-transfer, not PayPal? Yes, asking that for a friend. Yes, now I have the ability to add you to the Buy Me a Coffee Insiders mailing list, which is the only reason why I couldn't do it before. Before, I wanted everybody to go through Buy Me a Coffee because that would give you instant and automatic access to all the perks that we're going to start putting out. But now it is possible. Joe, please feel free to drop me a line. Oh my God, it's already 11:07 and we still have a couple of things to go through. Let's see. Is this the season for mosquitoes and bugs? Are screens recommended? Actually, in my experience, mosquitoes and bugs tend to go away more so once it starts to rain, once it stops raining. So I don't worry, or I don't feel as much concerned about mosquitoes this time of year than I did in the past few months. I think we've covered all the weed stuff. And thank you very much again, Steve, for your understanding. Lots of hugs for everybody that is feeling anxiety. I know that talking about weed, I know that I'm going to find myself some wine and some weed and some wonderful times today and tomorrow and the day after that. And my wish for everybody is that you do the same thing in a safe fashion. Moving right along, our Secretary of Economy Graciela Marquez has announced, along with our president, the official launch of El Buen Fin, which starts on November 9th. They say that this is a longer edition because what they're trying to do is to provide a boost for the economy, but at the same time, by offering a longer edition, they are hoping that stores are not going to be swarmed with people during the special sales that we are going to be able to enjoy. And the government has also pledged to offer additional protection to make sure that you are actually shopping for a good deal. For those of you that are not familiar with El Buen Fin, this is an annual campaign that started 10 years ago. It is similar to, what is it that is called in the United States, Black Friday or Black Weekend or weekend after Thanksgiving weekend, where supposedly you can go and buy all kinds of things at reduced prices and so forth and so on. Well, Mexico started having something similar, and it is called El Buen Fin, and it is going to again run from November 9th to the 20th. Expect to see a lot of sales at local shops, but also expect to see a lot of sales online. Just as is the case in the United States, you want to shop carefully for these things and make sure that you are indeed getting a good deal. I want to mention that my dear friend Zoe got in touch with me this morning. She is once again ending her series of live concerts for a while, but she's going to be going live tomorrow. I'm going to share the link so that you can enjoy it. Her show tomorrow is called Keep Calm and Carry On. I must say that of all the live shows that I see on Facebook, Zoe is one of the most entertaining and wonderful. So I am always happy to recommend this. Let me come back over here because I see some interesting questions. Particularly this one. I know you don't like to promote Buy Me a Coffee, but could you explain a bit more thoroughly how to do that? I had a struggle with trying to make a payment on PayPal. I would be happy to do that, Anna. Buy Me a Coffee is an independent website that allows creators like myself to receive sponsorship money and support either through one-time Buy Me a Coffee method or by pursuing ongoing continuous subscriptions. I know that some people have tried to use Buy Me a Coffee on mobile devices, and it's not very mobile friendly. But when you go to the Buy Me a Coffee website, you are given a choice to either buy Luna. Oh my God, she's here. Check it out. For those of you that haven't seen Luna for a while, here she is. Of course, she's smiling not at you, but she is smiling nonetheless. So you can choose to buy Luna and I individual coffees as many times as you want, or you can choose to pursue an ongoing subscription. You can subscribe for a month. You can subscribe for a whole year. The reason the subscriptions are there or the Buy Me a Coffee is there is because the system allows me to offer supporters specific perks that are special gifts for you as supporters and not for the general public. Such is the case of the Versalles for Foodies map that we released a little while ago. And I am so very grateful for those of you who have been subscribers for previously and have given me all kinds of wonderful feedback. I know that some people have subscribed or have bought coffees since we initiated the after we sent out the mail message for the Versalles map. So if you want to have access to the map, it's very easy. I'm going to share a new link that I haven't shared with you before. This is the link of my posts on Coffee and Headlines, and I'm going to give you a link for this page. When you are a member, you are able to see these posts and the information here. So when you buy something through Buy Me a Coffee, or you pursue a subscription, you get an account on Buy Me a Coffee. So you log into your account, and logging into your account allows you to see all these posts that I've put here. I haven't really put a lot of perks because my personal strategy was, build trust, build viewers, and then start thanking viewers. So now I decided, in case you're wondering, I decided I would nurture this project between March and November. And now that we are in November, we are doing ongoing perks and ways to thank you for supporting the work that we're doing. So this is going to happen more and more. I hope this explanation is helpful to you. And if not, by all means, please let me know. Let me take a... Oh, that is so funny. Where can you... everyone here can purchase a Xanax legally without an RX. That is so funny. Well, yes, there is that perk about living down here. Let me take a quick look at any other last minute comments you may have. Is Luna a latte or mocha fan? She is a latte girl, actually. She's a latte girl. Angelica, do you know if we can buy Acapulco chairs here? Oh my God, the Acapulco chair business is so elusive because you'll be driving around town, and invariably when you're driving around town, you'll see the Acapulco chair van whoosh past you in the opposite direction. And what it is a truck that has them piled, you know, on top of one another, and you never really know where this freaking truck parks to sell the Acapulco chairs. But they are out and about more often than more than once. I've thought to myself, I'm going to do a quick Yui, and I'm going to chase the truck and make it stop so that I can buy one. But of course, I don't need one. But yes, there are Acapulco chairs out and about. I can imagine that they are sold at one of the tianguis in town. Lynn, if I see them anywhere, I will be so very happy to let you know. The first time I went to buy me a coffee, it set one up for me. I didn't want that. It has been kind of tricky to delete that. I am sorry to hear that, Paula. If you have any buy me a coffee woes and I can help you with that, I'll be so very happy to talk to you separately. I received the foodie email the other day. Thank you. Thank you back, Gary. What are Acapulco chairs? My goodness, Jorge, go Google that. They are a wonderful invention. They are absolutely fabulous. Thank you very much for that, Dawn. You don't have to be a resident, but as long as you're finding something here that is useful and inspiring and helpful, or in fact, we're making you laugh or at least smile, then by all means, we appreciate your support. What is an Acapulco chair? Oh my goodness, do I have to do an Acapulco chair segment? Just write the word Acapulco and I'll be happy to go there. In your comments. If you write the word Acapulco in your comments, I'll be happy to go there. And speaking of writing things on your comments, my outline for the talk or the information that I'm going to share with you about internet radio and playing music at home and the comparison between paid services and free services is ready. I anticipate that I should be ready to have that segment for you by Friday or Saturday at the latest. So I see one Acapulco. I see another Acapulco. Oh my goodness. Okay, tomorrow I will talk about Acapulco chairs because it is a fabulous story. Oh my goodness, you didn't know about Acapulco chairs. I think you know about them, you just don't know them by name. So again, I'll be happy to talk about that tomorrow. But today it is time to get going. Look at the time. It's 11:17 and there's still 152 of you here, which I appreciate so very much, and Luna does too. Between today and tomorrow, again, if you find something useful here, I will remind you that Coffee and Headlines is supported by you. We are here thanks to you. So it is it's very much our privilege and our honor to find connections for you and our community, Puerto Vallarta. As always, stay calm, stay happy, stay kind, stay well fed, stay patient, and try to not stay anxious in the next few days, particularly if you are from north of the border. I hope to see you again soon. Have a great hump day.